Hi y'all, got another video for you today. I thought it might be interesting to give you my children's top 10 books right now. I've got twin 3.5-year-old boys right now. They're fraternal twins and they love books, and I'm always interested in finding new books, and sometimes it's hard to know what are good for their age range and what kids about their age would be interested in. So I thought it might be interesting just to make a video every 6 months or so to help other moms and dads who might be interested in the same thing. So this will be ranked from 10th to 1st based on how often they request the book and their general reactions when we do read it. So number 10 is Snuggle Up Sleepy Ones by Freedman. This was a gift that we got during the baby shower, and it's kind of a holdover from their baby days. It's a board book, so lots of great illustrations. It's rhyming for the most part. They've been read this just about every night since they were just a few weeks old. It's always been a favorite. They really like it. I think they call it the tree book because there's one particular tree that's fallen over, and they call it the bye-bye. Yeah, here we go. It's called the bye-bye tree. There's one particular tree that's fallen over, and they call it the bye-bye tree. So that's number 10. Number 9 is The Cranky Blue Crab by Watkins and illustrated by Tim Davis. This was an indie book before indie books were a thing. This was published by a small press here in South Carolina back in 1990 by Bob Jones University in Greenville. And the boys are starting to want longer books, but they still like kind of the Dr. Seuss rhymey thing. And this is a story told in verse. There's still a lot of great illustrations, but it's definitely a longer book, and everything still rhymes, and it's easy to follow along. And it's about this cranky crab who has an adventure. He gets tired of being on the beach all day, and so he goes off to try something new, and he meets some new people. For number 8, we have the Clifford the Big Red Dog books. Not necessarily this one, but Norman Bridwell has about 1 billion of these. My boys love the Clifford TV show. It was on Netflix for a while. They took it off. Hopefully they'll bring it back on. So I went on eBay and I found a lot of used Clifford the Big Red Dog books. I think I got 50 for $50 with shipping. Clifford, anything with Clifford on it, they love. So number 7 is an oldie but a goodie. This was one of my husband's books that my mother-in-law saved. It's called My Little Book of Cars and Trucks by someone. Who's this by? It's falling apart. It's ancient. This was written by Kennon and illustrated by Bob Corta. And this was published I have no idea. Wait a minute. I know this. Oh God, it's in Roman numerals. They still do that? The date is in Roman numerals. Oh my God. Okay, I'll translate that later. It's another rhyming book. The boys love the rhyming still, and it's just about a bunch of different kinds of cars. Some full of concrete, some full of bread, some painted black and white, some painted red.
And a mommy truck. And a daddy car. Daddy wishes daddy car. Yeah, mommy car. And blue trucks.
A blue car.
Blue car. A stoplight. What happens when you get stoplights, Robert?
Stop.
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 Cars and trucks, trucks and cars. Everywhere you go, some small and very fast, some big and slow.
This is a very, very popular bedtime story right now. Number 6 on the list of my children's favorite books is It's Not Easy Being a Bunny by Marilyn Sadler and illustrated by Roger Ballin? So it's one of those, beginner books. Talks about a bunny who is tired of being a bunny, and he goes and lives with a bunch of other animals and learns that, it's not that bad being a bunny, and it's kind of what he was meant to do. So he ends up, being happier with his family at the end, and it's cute. They like it. Number 5 is the very popular Chicka Chicka Boom Boom by Bill Martin Jr. and John, that name. This is an alphabet book. So A, B, C, D. We're learning our alphabet right now, so they love being able to point on the page and say, it's an A, it's a B, it's whatever. They like the coconut tree.
What's this?
Go down.
What's this?
Go coconut tree.
A coconut tree, that's right.
Go up.
Go up the coconut tree, then what happened? Then it went down from the coconut tree.
They like being able to point out the letters. They like being able to scream boom boom, every time we do the chicka chicka boom boom.
Chicka chicka.
Look, it's popular for a reason. It's a good book. Number 4 is How Do Dinosaurs Eat Cookies by Jane Yolen and Mark Teague. This is a scratch and sniff book that features both cookies and dinosaurs, so you know it's got to be good. And I love the sarcasm in this book. Basically, it's talking about all the things that dinosaurs absolutely do not do. You know, dinosaurs are very careful when they handle the bag of chocolate chips so that they don't spill. But then all of the pictures are them doing the exact same things that they say they don't do. So it's my kind of sarcasm in a kid's book. Book number 3 is one of the most requested books at bedtime. It's called Little Toy Train by Rand McNally Jr. I think. Your Rand McNally Jr. elf book. This is another book that was saved by my mother-in-law. It was one of my husband's favorites when he was a kid. The boys, they love anything trains, cars. They love any sort of mechanical transportation, so trains are good. Again, with the Roman numerals of the publishing. How old is my husband? So hubby and I sarcastically refer to this as Brokeback Train Yard. It's about a toy train who is tired of always doing the same thing every day. He goes over the bridge across the blue lake, he goes through the village, he goes around the track and to the little fake tree, and then he does it all over again, and he just wants to try something different. This is cool. So one day he finds himself off his tracks and he decides to have an adventure in the playroom. And he comes across a cowboy who says he'll happily ride his caboose like he's on a bucking bronco for a while. Toy train agrees. They decide to ram a ball for a little while, back and forth, again and again. Then Toy Train finds himself in a dark tunnel and is scared when Fuzzy Kitty rubs up against him. But Fuzzy Kitty tells him that it's okay and he'll use the pull-out method to get him out of the dark tunnel by hooking her fuzzy tail onto his face. And if you think I'm exaggerating any of this, I'm not. Usually we're reading this at the end of the day. We're terrible people. And then at the end of the book, someone puts him back on the straight and narrow of his train track, and Toy Train is just happy and excited that he got to do something different. Number 2 on this list is The Berenstain Bears on the Moon. This is about brother and sister bear and their dog. They have a rocket ship and they go visit the moon. My son Samuel especially loves this one. He asks for the rocket ship book all the time. So they go to the moon far, far away, and now every time my son sees the moon outside, he always says it's far, far away and you need a rocket ship to get there. So, science. I know you've been waiting for it. Number 1 of my 3.5-year-old son's favorite books, Dragons Love Tacos. Hell yeah. This is by Adam Rubin and illustrated by Daniel Salmset. That name. For all of y'all who haven't figured it out yet, I suck at names. Dragons Love Tacos is about how to make friends with dragons using their favorite food. Can you guess what it is? Tacos. It's silly. It's hilarious, really. It's a New York Times bestseller for a reason. If you had to have like a Harry Potter of the 3.5-year-old gang, This would be the Harry Potter of the 3.5-year-old gang. My boys cannot get enough of this book. They love it. And I'm so glad I bought it. So there you have it. My twin boys' favorite books at 3.5 years old. Figure every 6 months or so I'll do another recap and see what they're into, and maybe it'll help some other parents out there find some books for their kids. How old are your kids and what are their favorite books? Give me some ideas. Tell me in the comments. I'd love to hear from you. And until then, bye-bye. Can you hear that? Those are the sound of my children not napping. Sound I've become depressingly familiar with of late. Number 2 is the Berenstain Bears. Berenstain. One day I'll explain to all of y'all about the Mandela effect. I'm so going to hell. Not for this. Other stuff. But this is going to be referenced.